Hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shannon Overbay, and I'm sitting down with the wifey, Shannon Overbay.
Hello.
For another fun Sunday hangout conversation. Today we're sitting here on Mother's Day, excuse me. Fun little Sunday hangout, trying to get with everybody, but obviously people get a little busy. It's the holiday season and stuff, so.
Very much so.
So I wanted to make sure we brought an episode out to you guys today. If this is your first time checking us out, thank you guys for checking us out. This is episode 162 of the Who Are You podcast, so make sure you guys check out all of our social media, everything we got going on. But we have a fun conversation today.
Lots of stuff lined up.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on. We got our top threes, our Would You Rather segment. Shannon has a little bit of Mother's Day
trivia.
Yeah, some fun stuff. And then some other history stuff kind of going on. New Pope was brought in this week. All kinds of crazy shit's going on.
Yes, definitely.
So if this is your first time checking out the podcast, make sure you guys stick around so you guys see all the fun stuff we're talking about today. But like I said, we're sitting here on Mother's Day weekend. Shout out to all the mothers out there. If you guys are, I hope everybody's hanging out, not having to work, not having to do anything around the house. All the mothers out there deserve their rest.
Just relax.
Of course.
Enjoy your day.
Yeah, everybody deserves it. You guys obviously pushed out a human being. I have no experience on doing that. Shannon doesn't either yet. But,
Not yet.
but, shout out to you guys. Hopefully everybody's having a fun, safe time. Hope you guys are hanging out with your family and all those good things.
I do want to give a shout out to the fur baby moms as well, because I am one of them.
The fur baby
Since I don't
mamas.
have a real baby yet, fur baby moms, here's to you as well.
Shout out to the fur baby moms. Everybody, moms, dads, whoever,
Yes,
cats, dog owners.
That's true, yes.
What do we call bird owners?
I don't know.
Are they? I don't think they're furry. They have feathers, so I don't know if that's fur.
Now that I gotta look it up. Bird parents.
Yep, I guess we have to see. And then there's reptile parents, but we don't consider them. Those are weirdos. Everybody has the lizards and snakes. I'm sorry, a little weird.
Let's see, bird parent names. I don't know if that's really gonna.
What would we call
something?
What would we call what they have on the outside, right? Because they don't have fur.
They are feathers.
Yeah. But you don't call that just, I guess you just say they have feathers, right? You don't say they have fur.
Yeah, it's just talking about actual birds, hens and roosters. So I don't know what to.
We'll call all the mothers of them hens. How about that? All the hen mothers out there.
Exactly.
But today's been a fun day. Just kind of give you guys a rundown on everything we have been doing. We went and saw my mom and my stepmother today. Shout out to Lori. Shout out to Karen.
Yeah, made a phone call to my mom.
That's right. Shout out to Donna as well. We got to hang out, say what's up to everybody. Shannon was nice enough to send her mom a nice little one of those edible arrangement things.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those actual flower arrangement type that are edible. It was just a little sweet box.
Yeah, but it had a little cake in there, right? And then some strawberries.
I think it was cheesecakes, chocolate covered strawberries, and then cheesecake sandwiches or something. So.
Sounds pretty good in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But they're out of their fucking mind with how expensive things are getting nowadays. I remember when those things first came out. It's damn, this is just fruit.
Yeah, and now they are quite expensive. And then also, obviously my mom lives in a small town in Ohio called Worcester, but the closest edible arrangements to them was 40 minutes away.
Oh, really? Was it in Cleveland or something?
It was Fairland or something like that.
I'm not from
Fairfield.
Ohio. I'm not from Ohio, so that's a you question.
I don't know. It was 40 minutes away.
But shout out to the mothers out there, and yes. I'm glad that your mom got it on the day as well. Wanted to make sure that was a thing. But, obviously there's a lot of powerful women out there. Anybody who can push out a human being out of their body, continue to love that thing for over 18 years. Shout out to you guys. There's a lot of work that goes unthanked. We want to say thank you to everybody and all of our mothers as well here.
Yes, definitely. It's a great day to celebrate all the moms.
Yeah.
They definitely deserve their day.
I agree. And it was a fun day. We got to hang out with everybody. We were shooting the shit with Dad and Karen over their house. Same with Mom and Todd. Just getting to hang out with everybody. Sometimes it's good just to, even if it's not a big celebration, at least just go to the parents' house, hang out with everybody,
Have a nice... I don't... We had some food at your mom's, but... Either way, we still got to hang out. We did a puzzle.
She's usually the cook, so this was her day to relax.
Yeah.
So we didn't expect her to cook anything. That's not how it should be.
No, definitely.
But Todd was cooking it up on the ribs. He's throwing some ribs on the smoker and everything. So they were having a good time, and we've had a fun weekend so far. It was a little relaxing weekend. Your boy's starting a new job on Monday, so shout out. So it'll be interesting. I am going back into another industry as well. Still gonna be working with my hands in the trade work stuff. But your boy's also decided to go back to college. college, which is kind of crazy.
Yes, you're going to be a very busy boy coming up.
Yeah, and then we have another thing in the works as well. I'm not going to talk about too much on the podcast quite yet, but you guys will see little commercials for it whenever we get it up and running.
Yes.
It's actually more of it'll be a business venture. It's something that me, my dad, Shannon, and a couple other family members are getting into. So make sure you guys keep a lookout on our social media for all the other fun stuff coming up. So a lot of big things. As Shannon says, we're going to be busy as hell here, but busy's good. That means we're working on something and trying to grow something. So we're excited. We're excited for all the things going on. And, it's basketball season right now. Some people are basketball fans here. My buddy Cam, me and him have been talking shit back and forth a little bit. He's a New York Knicks fan, and I'm sure as you guys have known for a while now, I'm a Boston Celtics fan, Boston Red Sox fan, and the Celtics went down 2-0 in the playoffs. That was tough.
Unfortunately.
Tough looks. We lost by like a point or two on both games, and that was pretty sad after being up 20 points. What the fuck? Right. How are we giving up these wins? But we ended up stealing one back. We stole one. Yep, and we had a little fun drinking game at Nolan's house yesterday where we picked two players on each team, and our dumbasses picked the highest scoring players on both teams. So we're just having to have a good time.
Yeah.
So we're on there and over there having drinks and watching the game. The Celtics ended up putting a nice little ass whooping on those Knicks. So hopefully the Celtics are going to keep that run going and take it down to.
Yeah, we got 4 more games left.
Well, it comes down
in case.
Yeah, it's a 7-game series in total, but it comes down to how many wins each team have. The Knicks are up 1 basically on us. They have 2 wins. We have 1 win in the series so far. But
the Celtics are going to get wins across the board the rest of the way.
I hope so. I would love to see another championship banner go up there. What would that be, number 18 or 19 going up? We still have the highest amount of championships won in history of the NBA.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, New York Knicks have not won a single championship in their history. And I love when they try to say it's a historic matchup, and it sounds like a historic ass beating is what I've been hearing. But that's just me.
We'll see what happens.
How to poke a little fun in there for our New York listeners. Don't hate on me too much.
It's okay. It's all fun and games. It's all love.
It's all fun and games. The last championship I think they had was the Super Bowl, or maybe the Yankees won a couple years back, but that's really about it. I don't think much else has happened there.
I don't keep up with all these types of stuff. Really, just NFL football
Well, the Jets
comes around, so I don't.
The Jets haven't won shit. But I'm a Jaguars fan. The Jaguars haven't won shit either, so we really don't have much of a leg to stand on the NFL side of things. But no, it's been a fun weekend. Like I said, just been kind of hanging out. One thing I did want to talk to you about, I'm sure if you guys follow our social media at Who Are You Pod, make sure you guys check that out on all socials. We were talking about the whole big question that was going around the internet: the 100 people versus a gorilla conversation. Mm-hmm. That was a big talking point for a lot of social media, a lot of podcasts and stuff. And we made a video on it. I had Shannon answer the question because I had my obvious opinion, but I wanted to see what she thought of it when we talked about it.
And I had no idea about it. I hadn't even heard of this question when you asked me, and then ever since then I've been seeing different reels about it. It's blown up.
Me and you have different kinds of feeds, though.
Yeah.
Yours are more flowery and happy. Mine's shit talking and other people going at each other. So it shows you the different mindsets we have. But you said that you would think who'd you say? You said the people, right?
Yeah, I believe. Whenever you asked me, we did say men also. So
I was saying, I'm not trying to be rude about women and blah blah blah, all that bullshit. No, but I'm saying 100 average Joe guys going at a regular gorilla, like a silverback gorilla.
And I think that 100 men eventually would be able to overpower that gorilla. I know they're strong as, more than whatever. You literally look at a gorilla and all you see is muscle.
I wouldn't want to be the first 10 to 20 guys running at that gorilla. I think they are getting fucked in those.
I would want to be at the back of the line.
Yeah, I'll take number 98, number 99, you know what I mean? And then I'll come in and I'm like, oh, that's right, I won, motherfucker, talking all that shit, even though I didn't do any of the work.
Yep. I saw a video, I think it was Mr. Beast or something.
They did the animated one.
Yeah, it was a fake one. These people are all bloody and torn up.
Yeah. He was talking about, he's like, I got that $1 million, but a lot of good men died out there today.
Yep. But yeah, I think eventually the men could overpower the gorilla.
Yeah, it's just the only thing is the gorilla's gonna get tired. Every animal can only go so far. But like I said, those first 10 to 20 dudes, I always think of the Hulk meme, right? In Marvel where Hulk grabs, I think it was Loki. It was the movie where he grabs Loki by the leg and goes bam, 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 bam. I think that's what's gonna happen to the first 10 dudes. I think fuck, they're gonna get absolutely blown apart.
Yes, definitely, I agree.
But I was saying you have to go for you have to kick him the balls if you can get close enough. That's the major issue. Is if you can even get that close to him.
Yeah.
Get behind him, try to get a full Nelson on, but they're so big.
They are. I don't think you I mean, unless your arm span, I don't know if you could get around a gorilla's neck to do that.
That's what I'm saying. And also, like, their necks aren't like ours, where ours are kind of skinny, where everything's like right here. They have a bunch of like fat and like muscle around there, so maybe they're a little bit more protected.
Yeah.
Because I guess you really never see gorillas try to choke each other out in like a headlock or anything like that.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? It's like, we've seen like videos of gorillas fighting in the zoo. You never see them trying to like get over your motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe they just don't know that move yet.
That's true. Maybe they're just not evolved to that point yet. So maybe I'm going a little like over my thinking process. Yeah. But yes, no, I think that would be a bloody fight very quickly. Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you guys think. Do you think a man or 100 men or a gorilla?
Yeah, let us know what you say in the comments. I also saw another video that was close to that comment, and I chuckled at it. So it was a New York guy saying, what about 100 New Yorkers against 100 Floridians? I'm like, Florida will fuck you up.
Have you heard of Florida Man?
I was about to say, like, we get all the Florida men together. I'm not saying me personally. I'm saying like actual like Florida guys. Yeah. I think the what's called the bath salts and the meth down here will definitely take out anything you got going on up in New York.
Well, and literally almost every time I see a video of a Florida man, it's someone who's going and grabbing this huge gator out of a street and just walking away with it. Like what?
Or the famous video of the guy with the freaking frying pan when an alligator tried to run up and grab his dog. He slapped the dog shit out of the thing. He's like, get out of here, boy. And he's like talking all this shit.
Yep, definitely. So I think Florida for sure.
And I saw another one that was funny, which I think was actually hilarious. It was like 100 UK versus 100 Americans. I'm like, we won that war once, bud. You don't want it again. You don't want that shit again.
My thinking, granted, I've never been to the UK, so don't hate me, but I feel like usually when I see UK men, they're smaller than what I see to be American men.
They don't have all the
average.
They don't have all the steroids and like preservatives in their food over there. We have the shit that makes us big over here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I saw that, and like the comments on it was everybody was like USA. Like, what was the war where we succeeded from Britain? Was that the Revolutionary War? I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah, like we already won that war once. We don't want these hands. I don't care what anybody says, bro. Or also this is also separate than a fight, but like in UK, right? They can't own guns over there.
That's true.
That like basically most of their stuff that happens over there, where it's kind of like anything bloody or where like a mass thing happens.
It's a knife.
Yeah, it's a knife. Yeah. And I was like, in the USA, like they pull out their ARs real quick, or like here in Florida, they'll definitely pull that out real quick.
And obviously, like I feel for the scenario UK versus USA, it would have to be somewhat of a fair fight. Mm-hmm. So either we don't have the guns, or maybe we all get knives.
I don't think
it's just fist fighting,
fisticuffs, as they say over there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, what do you think would be like the two states of the United States that would actually be an interesting one to watch? I have mine. I think like.
What do you mean?
So
the two states that fight each other?
Yeah, like two states. Like say if two states went to war in the United States, right? I think Florida and Texas would be a wild one to watch.
Definitely,
because Texas is big on their firearms and everything over there. So is Florida. Like we're like the two like kind of like open carry states or like constitutional carry states.
But I'm also thinking like, yes, Florida is huge. We have a lot of people, but it's also we have a lot of older people.
Texas is bigger than us, though.
Texas is.
I think they're one of the
so large. I think they're the largest state.
Are they? I think they are the largest state, right? Yeah.
But. I mean, you brought up New York. I know they're a lot smaller, but
they have a lot more people, I think. Just per capita kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think California would be.
California doesn't want this shit.
No.
They're like, no, I don't want to fight.
I mean, talk about maybe Chicago.
Ooh, Chicago would be scary. Chicago would be scary. There's a lot of
everyone's been talking about Chicago recently. So.
There's a lot of boroughs over there, like O Block and all that shit. I don't want anything to deal with. Fuck that. Mm-hmm. Like where a lot of like famous rappers have come from and everything. And like a guy named Tommy G, shout out Tommy G, the YouTuber that came to Jacksonville. Like he went and like traveled around O Block. There's like 10-year-olds like walking around with freaking guns with switches on them and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you got it, bud. I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, I think Texas would definitely be in the running, and then probably either like New York, Chicago, one of them, like some other state that's known for being kind of not aggressive, but
like Texas, it's like every household has a gun.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone usually has, like, it's not even them being aggressive. It's just they are constitutionally allowed to do what they want to do, or their laws are different than other states. Like there's like in California or in like New York, it's almost impossible to be able to buy a firearm.
Really?
Through their laws. Like you have to go through so much red tape just to purchase like a pistol, a shotgun, any of that kind of stuff. We're here in Florida, you literally just go apply for it and they're like, here you go, 3 days later.
Wait 3 days.
Yeah, as long as you're not, you know, they do their background check and everything like that, and they're like, here you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, unless you have your actual like concealed carry license, then you can get the gun probably same day. But
yeah, but that's the thing that changed in Florida, because originally for you to be able to carry your firearm, like say in your car or on your person, you had to have your concealed carry. Now they changed that law like a year or two back. They changed it to constitutional carry, where you can carry it with you. Doesn't mean you can you can't be like a cowboy walking around with your holsters out. But in Texas, you can't.
Yeah.
You can walk around with your gun on your hip, and that's not even questioned anymore, kind of thing.
I didn't think about that. But specifically for the time period, I think if you have like a license for it, you don't have to wait. But if you're just like, oh, I want to go buy a gun.
Yeah.
It's like 3 days, just in case.
I mean, it's reasonable. It's really just a cool down period, just to make sure if you're thinking about something crazy, you know, hope
they don't want any rash decisions being made.
Not saying 3 days is really going to change that whole thought process there. Usually, if you're pretty fired up like that, you're most likely like, I'm still going to do this. But no, it's. I just thought that was a funny like comparison when they said UK versus America. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
That is very funny.
Yeah, I was like, because I think about like us going to other countries when we want to travel and stuff like that. I'm going to stick out in certain countries. You know what I mean? With me being as tall as I am,
just with how tall you are.
Yeah, so I think it'd be interesting. But then you go to like Slovenia, where some of these basketball players are, and they're like 7'3". You're like, where the hell did you come from?
That's true. Like, who's that? Jovic?
Djokovic. We were talking the guy on the Nuggets. He's one of the like top players. I was telling you about how he loves his horses and stuff. That's all he cares about.
It. That's great.
Hey, you know, he's like, I just want to be rich so I can have more horses and like have my stables and stuff. Literally every summer,
hang out with his horses.
He travels, like he comes to the United States just for the NBA season, and he's like. And he like deuces out when the season's over until the next time like practices start again.
Goes back to his little farm.
Hey, I feel like that's the move.
Sounds like a nice life.
Hell yeah! I'd say if we ever get to the point where me and you can buy a couple hundred acres of land, I'm out. We're having a good time building up our family compound, like we've said.
Definitely, that is the dream.
It is the dream. It is the dream. I also had another question. This was one I thought about. I saw in another video. I don't remember who I watched it off of. I wrote it down. So this is just like one of those random questions, right? So this is one for you to answer. I have my answer on what I would have.
Yeah, you had time to think about it, though.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I
haven't had any time.
I can give mine. You know what I mean? I can give my example. I was going to ask you the question. So if you had the power to dispense any liquid from 5 fingers, so like in your hand, right? Any liquids you want.
5 different liquids.
5 different liquids. If you had the ability to do that, what would be your 5 liquids? I'll give you mine. Okay?
Okay.
So one would be gasoline.
Okay.
You got to think. We could fill up our car for free. This doesn't cost money.
100%.
The second one would be water, obviously. You got to have water.
What came to my mind.
Anytime you're like, running around, you're like, ooh, I just...
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Don't have a water?
There's that. Another one for me, energy drinks, Celsius or something like that. Celsius, I could always have energy on the go. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
What would be? One would be like some kind of alcohol, either whether it's beer. I think liquor would be a little dangerous. That's alcoholism just waiting to happen.
That would be bad.
So I would say Blue Moon beer for me. I like a good Blue Moon. That's usually what I order when we go out. And there's 5. What was my 5th one? I'm trying to think.
That is a lot of liquids.
It is, but this is a fun game. But you know what I mean? And then, oil. We can sell oil.
Yeah.
Like motor oil, car oil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess you're right. I didn't think about oil.
I could just sell that off, or I could just do an oil change in my car for free anytime I wanted.
That is very true.
That'd be my 5.
Okay. That makes sense.
And it could be anything you want, even if it's like a sports drink or like, you know what I mean? Like anything you want. What would you be? Obviously, water would probably be one.
Yeah, water would be one of them. I think I agree with gas. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I want to say like soda of a sort, just for like that sugar kick.
Like Doritos or
probably like a Pepsi.
Not sponsoring the podcast, but shout Pepsi anytime you want to. Let us know.
Love it.
Yep.
So what was that? Oil or gas, water, soda. Maybe, I mean, the beer thing isn't bad, but there's so many liquids in the world. I'm trying to think.
That's all I'm saying. I just think it was cool. Like, like when they asked that question, I was like, those were like the first 5 things that came to my mind. I was like, 100% gasoline. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? That'd be sweet. You know how much money that'd save you over time?
Definitely.
Honorable mention for mine, Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal, if it ever comes back.
Yes, if you guys have watched the podcast over the years, you guys know that was my shit when I was younger, and they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
Makes me sad.
I guess since I'm having such a hard time thinking of different liquids, I would say, like, I like Mick Ultra beer rather than Blue Moon. And then a final liquid. I'm trying to think, like, something that would be useful, not just, like, to drink.
There's like stem cells that are good for blood. If you need actual, we can already do that from our fingers, but
yeah, but why would I dispense just a bunch? Like, how often?
You could donate blood as much as you want.
Well, I guess you could.
Yeah. And I mean, there's that.
If they have the same blood type.
Oh yeah, duh. But like, there's that, or what would be some other good ones that would come?
I was trying to think maybe like household products or like something that would come in handy.
Hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer would be a good one. You're always clean.
You're always clean.
You're always sanitized. You know
that is true.
What else would be good there?
I don't know.
Spray deodorant, but I guess that's a mist. That's like
that's not a liquid.
You're right. If you guys have any ideas, let us know in the comments. I'm trying to think of some other good ones.
It's hard to think of.
Yeah, like I said, that's a lot of liquids. Obviously, water is going to be one of them for you to stay alive kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The energy drink one had to be the energy drink one. You know what I mean? For me.
I don't think I would have to do it because I just need one energy drink a day, if even a day.
I have limited myself because I love caffeine, but I have to limit myself or I won't go to bed. Yeah. That's my thing.
I feel like some people would probably say coffee, but I'm not a coffee drinker.
The video I saw, that was one, the guy said coffee. Yeah. I was like, coffee's a good one. I just I don't drink as much coffee as I used to when I was a little bit younger. But I thought that was an interesting question, wasn't it?
That is definitely interesting. Definitely give me ideas in the comments. Like, what would the top 5 be? What would come in handy?
Yeah, like what would come in handy on those things? I think what I said was all like actual like handy things that would work out well. You know what I mean?
Oil and everything. Yeah, for sure.
Gasoline for everything too. That'd be the move.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is really interesting.
I thought that was one I could hit you with. You know, just a fun one.
Yes, I agree.
And you said you brought up you have some Mother's Day trivia. Would you like to move into the Mother's Day trivia portion of the show?
Sure, we can do that.
So I didn't prepare this. Shannon said she wanted to do this. I was like, I'm down. I'm down to try it out, see what's up.
I had to incorporate Mother's Day some way since we were doing the pod on Mother's Day. So, starting off, the first question is, how much money do Americans spend on flowers every Mother's Day?
That's a good question. We bought
average.
Yeah, we bought flowers today for both of our my mothers, and then flowers are expensive too because there's like different realms you can go into. Like if you go to the private florist, that gets into the hundreds of dollars, and then there's like you go to Publix or like Walgreens and stuff. Those are like the $20 ranges. I would say $1 billion.
Even more.
Really?
It's $3 billion.
Okay, so I was originally...
You're close.
I was originally going to say millions. I was like, there's no way. I was like, with the amount of people here, I was like, I think it has to be in the billions. So $3 billion, okay.
$3 billion. Okay. When did Mother's Day become a national holiday?
Are you looking for the year?
The year.
When did women get rights?
Oh my gosh, stop. I'm going to say it wasn't like a long time
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm not trying to be rude, but there was always the whole fight about women's rights and stuff. So that's when I would think that they would actually start like giving women holidays. So I'm going to say 1964.
It's earlier than that.
1930.
It's in the 1900s, but no, it's 1914.
Oh, really?
It's pretty early on in the 1900s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. Okay, I like that. I didn't know that.
It was like around Civil War times that, mothers started kind of getting together and doing different things. And then like the national holiday.
That's true. And then like around those times as well, like when people were off at war,
exactly.
The women like had to step up to be the man and woman of the household. Cook dinner. This is a very like lackluster saying, but like mowing lawn. Being there for the kids, raising the children, all that kind of stuff. Even though at that time that's what they still did anyways. But That's true.
You're right.
The men would work, and then that's not me being an asshole. That's the truth. Like,
You're right.
You know what I mean? The men would sit there with their scotch and get away, and kids, and then the women took care of everything.
Yes, it was 1914. I believe it said it was Woodrow Wilson was the president who made it a national holiday.
That's an interesting little factoid. I did not know that.
All right. My next question is, what is the longest a human female has ever been pregnant?
Like
longest
for one
time.
term, like with one, whether it's like multiple children, but just the one term of being pregnant, right? Ooh. I mean, a normal one's 9 months, right?
Yep.
So I would say a full year.
Just a little over 375 days.
Ugh.
I could not imagine.
That's tough.
That sounds horrible.
Did you like read into like if there's any reasoning for it?
I did not.
Oh, I understand.
It was just 375 days.
That's tough. That's a tough look right there. You know,
I don't know how does a baby stay in so many more months?
I have a feeling this was also during the times where they couldn't force like a baby to come out. Like, you know, there's like nowadays, right? Say if you're
induce.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Your pregnancy is going longer than expected. They can induce the baby now, or say if there's like maybe like a chance of a medical problem, if they're in there longer than expected, they can induce you.
Well,
kind of
there's
thing.
always C-sections as well.
Yeah, but I don't think C-sections, like I was saying, like we're talking about earlier times, right? The early 1900s, right?
Well, right.
I don't think they were just cutting babies out at that current time. Now that's like probably been more of a medical intervention miracle as time has gone on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Other than just inducing them, they can also just surgically do it nowadays.
Isn't that wild? They can literally just cut open your belly and they're like, all right, you're coming out, bud. It's happening right now, whether you like it or not.
I have heard about C-sections, and I just like the thought of them cutting through your abdomen muscle. Yep. My stomach is getting like in knots, right? Just and thinking about it.
And that usually doesn't heal up correctly. Like usually you have like issues after times, and I'm sure they've gotten better with it, where it's not quite as invasive as that, but they are still cutting your abdominal muscle. So like you leaning up or like you doing different kinds of things, that probably messes with it. I couldn't imagine that either.
Okay, so I have one more question and a bonus that kind of goes with it. So on Mother's Day, more of these are made than any other day of the year. What is it?
Babies.
No. That was not the answer.
More of these are made.
Than any other day.
More of these are made on Mother's Day.
It's kind of a tricky one.
Is it a food?
No. That was where I thought your head would go, though.
More of these are made on Mother's Day.
Think about my situation.
I don't know. I don't even know the answer to that. I don't even know what to answer that.
Phone calls to moms.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Obviously, my mom isn't here, so we can't go visit her. I made her a phone call this morning.
That makes more sense with you said your situation. I was thinking more of the fact, like, you have, now that we're married, like, you know, like I have my mother-in-law, you have multiple mothers-in-laws now kind of thing. So I was like,
that's true.
I guess that still could have played a role if we didn't live here. So that makes sense. Yeah. I understand.
And then the bonus to that is how many phone calls are made to moms.
I mean, if there's $3 billion made with the flowers and stuff, I would have to say, how many people are in the United States? There's like 388 million, right? Or something like that. I would say 200 million.
Not far off. 122 million.
Hey, see? I wasn't too far off. Not too far off.
Yeah.
I like that.
I thought that was
a good trick.
That
was a good trick question. I mean, I wasn't even thinking phone calls. I was thinking of like cards being made, you know, like kids like making the cards for their mom or something.
Yeah.
Or I was like,
babies was a funny answer.
I thought that was a good one, right? They were like, I want to be mom, so Mother's Day, like, right? That makes sense.
I guess.
Well, I feel like Valentine's Day obviously makes more sense, but that's interesting. I like that.
All right, let us know if you guys have any fun Mother's Day trivia that I didn't talk about.
I like it. Another thing that has been going on in the world as well, it's a transition, is the first American Pope.
Oh my God.
Was added in this like couple days ago.
How crazy.
Who would have thought a Pope would be from Chicago?
Right.
Like I was
Pope from Chicago.
I always thought like American couldn't be the Pope for some reason.
That's what I thought too.
I thought it was always like the Italian or like the Roman like kinds of people. That's usually what they were.
Right.
And like whenever they read from scripture, usually it's in like Italian or like old like Roman or some or Latin or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Well, and that's why I asked you earlier. I was like, how? I didn't know an American could be elected Pope.
I didn't know that either. But I was talking to my dad about this, and I looked it up after we talked about it. Apparently, that's been like kind of like a no-no thing for a little while because of America being the number one superpower, or one of the major superpowers in the world. That gives basically the United States more power because an American is like the powerful over Christianity, which is one of the, if not the biggest following of religion in the world.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you like power in a couple of different ways. I did look up some facts about the Pope. Apparently, the Pope is a part of the United Nations, so they actually do play a role in politics and like throughout the world, right? So like pushing like certain agendas or like pushing like what's going, like whether it's like treaties or anything like that, they help like when it comes to working in that side of things. I didn't know that personally. I thought.
Well, and as you stated with religion being like it's in every country, everyone has their different views, whatever it is. I guess they to make sure that side of voices are heard. I guess that makes sense.
And Vatican City is the smallest country in the world.
Yeah.
They are their own sovereign country.
That's awesome.
And it's only like, I think it's like 50 miles by 50 miles kind of thing. It's super small.
When I think of Vatican City, I think of just like a little plot.
It basically is. It's like, I don't even know if it's the 50 miles is correct. Like it's super small. Yeah. It's just literally just like boom, boom, like all cornered off kind of thing.
I'm going to look up how big Vatican City is.
Yeah. But no, like because the Pope, I was like, obviously people find it a big deal, and if you're religious, obviously the Pope is a huge person, and like when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I was like, what kind of power does he have? I was like, I don't understand what he kind of plays in the world. Excuse me. And apparently, like basically he does preach the word of God, right? And whatever his saying is infallible. So he can't be wrong. So whenever he describes something, it can't be wrong on like what it comes from the Bible and like what his readings and what his tellings are and everything like that.
Interesting.
Right? You looking how big Vatican City is?
Yeah. So it says it's 5,274 square feet. So I need to see in miles.
It's only 5,000 square feet? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was completely wrong on miles then. But that's the size of a house.
Is that? Yeah, it's 0.19 square miles.
Yeah, so it's super small. Yeah, it's a mile. That's crazy. I was crazy wrong on that. My bad.
Wow.
So it's literally a mile long.
It's not even a mile.
Yeah, that's crazy how small it is, and it's its own sovereign city. And country as well. Because I've seen that on like Jeopardy before. I remember I saw that one time. I was like, smallest country. I was like,
yeah. It says it's 0.65 miles long.
So it's not even a mile long.
Not even a mile long.
So it's probably just,
and it's 0.53 miles wide.
So that means it's just big enough to house like the monarchs and everything, and all the cabinet basically for them.
Makes sense.
But that's crazy that they consider that a country, right?
Right. That is wild.
Yeah.
I did not think it would be that small, but yeah. Okay.
And to become a pope, there's like a many different things. So you have to become a priest, then you move up the next one and it's become a bishop. The bishops are voted in, and then you become a cardinal. And the cardinal is basically like, if you think about the United States, right, where the president has his cabinet members and his trustees that help him like make decisions and look through things thoroughly over. That's what a cardinal is, but they live in Vatican City with the Pope. And basically you have to be appointed, and it has to be a 2/3 vote. So the 2/3 of the 120 cardinals have to vote you in for you to become the new Pope and everything. Because I think the most recent Pope is Pope Francis, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and he died like a couple weeks ago kind of thing. But apparently this was a pretty quick vote. It wasn't like, there's been times where it's taken months to pick a Pope. But this was like, I think a week is when they actually like voted in.
Wow.
And do you know how the people know when the new Pope has been voted in?
Never really thought about it. No.
So basically there's a chimney, and whenever they are voting...
Like a house chimney?
Yeah, a house chimney. And whenever they are voting, the smoke is black. And whenever white smoke comes out, that's when that lets the people know that a new pope has been chosen before they announce it.
Wow. How do you make... Okay.
I don't know how they do that, but yeah, that's how I've always known that. I thought that was an interesting factoid for you to know.
I never knew that. That is really interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
So black is while they're voting. So imagine if it took months, it's just black smoke continuously Wow.
Yeah, so that's how you know the vote has been cast, and like the 2/3 votes have been confirmed, and then the new pope is being confirmed in there.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And like where they do the voting and like where the pope lives, basically, I was watching the news with my dad when we were over there the other day, and it was showing the inside of it. The artwork in there is like thousands or like hundreds of years old, and it's beautiful. It's crazy to see all the Saint Basilica and all that stuff over there. It's interesting to see like all the old art that still like stands to this day. And like I don't think like really anybody outside of the cardinals and the pope are allowed to really be walking around too much in there. So it's interesting.
That is really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So is it kind of like the president like moves in the White House, the pope moves into?
Yeah, there's like a specific like pope's quarters where it's like the pope, not apartment, but you know what I mean, like a condo or something like that. That is theirs, and I believe they stay there once they become pope, because I think that was the question, is like with this guy, if he was going to stay there or if he was going to be, because he is from Chicago, he has family in Chicago and everything, and if he was going to go back and forth, or how that was really going to work.
So you were talking about the Cardinals staying there, though. So if he was already a Cardinal, he was probably living there already.
You're right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how that really works.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't really know much about the Pope, but it's really cool that there's an American one now.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm sure they'll try to say America fucked it up in some way, shape, or form, but whatever.
It was crazy because I was scrolling social media the other day, and there was some video I saw about a Pope song where it's like, the Pope is from Chicago, don't fuck with,
Yeah.
Because that's what I was saying. Chicago's been in the news a lot.
So. Yeah, the first American Pope is in office. I guess you would say.
Very cool.
I don't know. Obviously, like I've said on the podcast many times, I'm not personally religious myself. Nothing wrong with it personally, but it's just interesting how us humans who are, we can be, what's it called? You can be swayed, but you can be biased. Yes, so we can be biased and stuff like that. So that's the thing I find weird with that whole situation where they get voted in. Like, who makes one more holier than thou kind of thing.
That is true. I guess I was kind of thinking about it like they probably devoted their lives.
Oh, no, these people did.
I highly doubt that they're very, well, you never know, but I highly doubt they're really biased of like who they like more.
Well, but he was a cardinal, so what makes him the better cardinal than the other?
That's true.
And apparently, from what I was reading as well, is like he had a pretty close relationship with the Pope, so maybe that played a part in it as well, where they were like,
he might have had more like knowledge to be in that role.
Yeah, or maybe just was a little bit more of the right hand man, so he was more maybe getting trained or groomed to be that part. Like I said, I don't know the full story, but I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's we'll see what happens. See if America fucks it up.
We'll see all the news that comes
in the
coming weeks. It was just what you said, like last week or something?
It was this past week. Yeah, it just happened.
I guess we'll wait and see as the weeks and months roll on what happens.
We shall see. See. All right. And then did you want to move into, would you like to do the top 3 or the would you rather next?
Let's do the would you rather.
Okay. I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. I had 2. I think I'm going to do this second one.
Okay.
Would you rather, because I know you're going to have an opinion about this, live with your parents forever or be a crazy cat person? And when I say crazy cat person, I mean at least 15 cats at a time.
Oh, that'd be tough. Because, like, I love cats. Obviously, we have copper and stuff, but the amount of cat piss that would smell like.
15, all those litter boxes,
I've
food.
been in houses that have that, and it's tough. Like, you walk in, and that's like the first smell is just urine. You're just like, oh.
No, it's different if you have, like, a whole farmyard, and that's different. But
let's be honest. When
we're talking about a house, crazy cat person.
When people have 15 cats, you can usually tell the first 2 steps in the door, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God.
So which would you rather?
I love my family. I really do. But living with them, I moved out at 18 because I couldn't live with them anymore. And I've stayed out for that specific reason. Love them to death. We see each other frequently, but we love our time apart.
I know.
But I'm an animal guy too because I love cats. I love all animals, really. There's not too many I dislike. I feel like it'd be cheaper to live with my family, though.
100%.
I say living with a family.
Yeah.
Home cooked meals. Cheaper rent. I think that would be the move I would go because that's a lot of animals to feed too. Like, knock on wood, copper's not too expensive. We would literally just give them water and food and vet bill every so often, and then kitty litter. I would say we probably spend $200 $300 a year on them. You know what I mean? It's not that expensive.
I've never sat down into the math, but I buy him a lot of toys.
Yeah, but I mean, so does our family. You know, I mean, they treat him like literally like he's like our child. He is our child.
That's
I love him.
I mentioned the fur moms in the beginning.
Yes, whatever. But he is a cute little guy. I would say living with the family personally. What would you say?
I would say living with the family as well.
Well, you and your mom got along when you lived together, so you had a different.
Not all the time, definitely not. But I had a lot of leniency, I would say.
I did not.
And honestly, I'm thinking, like, obviously we're older now. We see how we interact with our families. I think, like you said, home cooked meals. Your mom and I do puzzles. My mom would happily come do the puzzles as well.
Me and Todd would just drink beer and watch sports.
Yeah, like, I feel like, you know, you can still have your alone time and, you know.
I don't know. It'd be like back in college. We gotta be quiet. We couldn't have our husband and wife time. That'd be tough.
We'd have to have like a specific style house, I think, to like, even though we'd live together, we'd have to have some soundproofing or something. Distance, soundproof, I don't know. But I don't want to hear that. I don't want them to hear that. That's the only thing I can think of that'd be like, That would be tough. That would be tough. But the cheaper rent would be nice. I would say that. That'd be nice. And I feel like 15 cats, if I'm at home, 15 cats, I feel like they wouldn't all get the same love and attention, and I would feel bad. So I don't want to like neglect any of. I just don't have to clean all that litter. Yeah, it would also be super expensive, super smelly, all that. Yeah. No. So I would say living with the family. I'd say about 10 of those would be outside cats. Our favorite 5 would be the insides. Yeah. But that is living, like, you never move out even at 18. That's forever. You just live with them. Maybe we inherit the house. You know? There's different options. There's different options. I keep telling Mom and Todd, I'm like, whenever y'all move out of your house, or whenever it gets to that point. Oh, my gosh. I was like, they hate it. I always tell them, I'm like, you know, when you guys get to that point, you know, I'm going to send you all to the villages. I'm going to let you go party with the old people. And your mom said she's never leaving that house. Yeah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, when you get to the point where I'm not letting you drive anymore, we're going to put you somewhere. Oh, you're going to be comfortable somewhere, happy. I'm not letting you drive. I think Seth will be there. He'll be taking them wherever they want to go. Get the fuck out of here. I love Seth to death. They ain't going to trust his ass. Yeah, I don't know. They're not going to trust his ass to do this shit. Yeah. I would make sure they're fed and taken care of. That is true. Have a good time. Like, you got what you need. You're good. Get like the hamster thing with the water, little drips of water. That's awful. Slide a tray through. Here's your dinner. Yeah, here's your dinner. Sandwich, some snacks. No, we can't go out to eat. There's food at home. Oh my god. I saw. Who brought that up today? Me. I brought that up today when we were talking. Yeah. Some child, the mom asked the child, what are we doing? Where are you taking me for Mother's Day? And he's like, we got food in the fridge. I was like, damn. I was like, so true. I was like, so freaking true. What a comeback. Yeah. I was I'm not that witty. I thought that was funny. It was like a Facebook or a Twitter post I saw. I was like, damn, got her ass. Yeah. That's right. What is your would you rather now? My would you rather is going to be a little more aggressive than yours, as always. Gosh. As always. My would you rather is, would you rather never be able to wash your hair or never be able to brush your teeth? I have my answer. Oh, gosh. It's tough, either one. Either one's tough. I hate that because my hair gets greasy within a couple days. I know grease is good for your hair. And there's things like dry shampoo. Well, that's washing your hair. You can't wash your hair. That's not washing it. Dry shampoo is spraying it. But it's basically washing your hair. You can't do anything to your hair when it comes to cleansing it in any way, shape, or form. That's what I'm telling you. So, for the teeth thing then, you can't have like gum and stuff? Gum's fine, but it doesn't clean your teeth. No, it does not. I think I would have to say I couldn't wash my hair. Yeah, I was about to say, I thought you were about to say I wouldn't brush my teeth. I'm like, you're fucking nuts. No, that's disgusting. Plus, like, I just think about how bad teeth can get. Like, I'd shave my head. Yeah, I guess I could wear wigs and stuff. I would just shave I would shave my shit. That's what I would do, 100%. Wouldn't even think twice about it. Yeah. And do you know bad oral care is actually linked to bad heart? I did not. Yeah. They're like, because you can get a disease. Yeah, because you're like ingesting. Mm-hmm. That's true. I didn't think about it.
There's some nasty mouths out there in this world. If there's one thing I would never be as a profession is a dentist. I'm sure they see the most nasty, like janky, like teeth and
I can't even just digging around in someone's mouth like with your fingers.
What if someone bites you too? Like, that would be fucking.
Oh my god!
Like, you're sticking, like you're trying to check something, they just like chomp down on your finger. Some crazy ass person, like
or like those people, like if they have a really like sensitive gag reflex or something, like you're brushing their, I don't know.
Well, I've seen those like videos where people like they'll do cleaning and you have like the plaque that's all the way across their teeth. That's like rock basically, and they have to like sit there and like break it up like concrete. I'm like, ugh.
Now it's satisfying to watch.
It's satisfying to watch,
disgusting.
But you know the smell that is coming out of that person's mouth.
Yeah.
It smells like you're like opening up a trash can that has like full of rotten food. There's no way that smells good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. The smell and then just the discoloration that would eventually set in. Eventually you're going to lose your teeth. It'd be horrible.
Yeah, no. Not for me. Not for me, fam. You can keep that out. I'll do the not washing my hair. I got to brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Because like there's some people like you'll talk to them, you're like, oh, you're like stop. Like,
can you talk to me and face that way?
How dare you freaking do that to me?
No. Like I said, there is obviously gum and stuff that can help with the breath smell, but still like
there's only so much like gum can do, you know, even if you freaking
mint, all that.
Even like there's some people who believe that they just need mouthwash. I'm like, no. Like you gotta scrub those freaking funky bones that are hanging out of your freaking mouth. Like, get the hell out of here.
Isn't that crazy that your teeth are the only like bones that you wash?
Yeah.
It's like weird.
Well, like they're specific bones because they're protected by other things, right? They have what's the shit that's on the outside of your teeth that you can lose over time? Enamel, right? Mm-hmm. So your enamel basically protects your teeth from being all like sensitive from like heat and cold and stuff. But they also, like us as humans, once you have your adult teeth, you don't get any more teeth, which is. And did you know that there's a hormone in our body that is produced that stops us from producing more teeth?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot what the hormone was called. I read about that a long time ago because we're not like sharks, right? You know, sharks lose their teeth all the time and then new row comes in.
Yeah.
And you saw that video of what a baby's skull looks like where like up here is like all their adult teeth are.
Yeah, that was so weird because I literally watched a video of like a bone museum and it was showing all those different things and it's like literally your adult teeth are almost to your nose before they grow in and everything, and it's super creepy.
Human body's weird. Everything it does is just weird.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question.
I thought you'd like that one. Yeah, because I know how you are about being clean. I knew that would bother you.
Yeah, anytime my hair starts getting greasy and stuff, I'll either, put some dry shampoo if I'm in a pinch or I'm washing my hair.
Yep. I understand.
So I guess I would probably shave my head if it got to that really bad point and probably just wear wigs.
And sooner or later it would like dread up as well, you know what I mean, like where it would literally like conform to or like congeal together kind of thing.
Yeah, if you don't shave your head I could rock the dreads. I mean,
that'd be an interesting look.
But to have good dreads you still have to wash your hair a specific way.
Yeah, they're maintained. Like when someone dreads their hair, they do it like specifically, or there's even like hair products you can use to dread your hair so it like comes together, but it also doesn't smell like shit. You know what I mean? Like they still like everybody
clean.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of stuff that you can do with your hair. Or I've also seen people where after they've dreaded their hair, they're like, I don't want to do that anymore, or restart them. And I've seen people that have to get this like little comb. It's like 3 prongs, and they have to sit there and like pull it out multiple times and keep going up the dread and then pull it out. I bet that shit takes forever. I bet it does.
It's just imagine like your hands have to get like cramped after so long. But to each their own.
Hey, ain't no problem. I feel like I've seen like I had buddies on my basketball team. I remember I would go to their house and like their mom would be dreading their hair for the game, or not dreading their hair. They'd be doing the twist.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're freaking like pulling that shit. I'm like, oh God. And
yeah. I can't.
Nah, I couldn't either.
It's like I can do my braids.
You do like boxer braids though. Yeah.
And like even what I'm doing is pulling my hair super tight. I lose so much hair whenever I'm braiding my hair. But to see like even those like super skinny tight braids, I cannot imagine how tight that hair is being pulled.
It takes a lot of time too. Like that stuff's not like 20 minutes and it's done. It's like it's an all day like an all day event.
You're sitting there a long time. That's for sure.
I used to watch buddies get it done all the time. I was like, fuck that. I was like, I'm good.
And then I can't even imagine like the women that do that, or I don't know if there's men that do it as well. Like I said, your hands cramping. Like my fingers start cramping after doing just my 2 boxer braids.
No.
All day.
No, people who do hair are skilled. I'll give them that. Like I don't know how to braid or do anything like that. I'm like, you got that on me. You can keep that.
100%, yeah.
Good one. So that was good. That was good. Would you rather? I was looking today. I've been trying to find some good would you rathers for a minute. I just haven't seen any good funny ones lately.
Yeah, I had to, like I said, but I wanted to incorporate the parents for Mother's Day. So.
I understand. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we're going to move into our top 3 one here. So the top 3 this week, not sponsored, by the way. We are just big fans of their products.
If you want to reach out, definitely, let us know.
Let us know.
We got some talks.
So this week's top 3, and if you guys are energy drink fans, you'll enjoy this one. Top 3 Celsius flavors. So this is one that we kind of debated. I remember when we had Snacksonville. Shout out to Evan from Snacksonville on. He was giving me shit for some of my choices. We didn't do top 3s, but we talked about some of my top favorite ones. And I had a new one recently that has cracked my top 3, actually.
I think I know which one it is.
Yes.
And granted, we haven't had all of them yet.
So I've had a good mix. Shannon's the kind of person that stays like to the same ones. I kind of like...
I've tried different ones because we've gotten different packs.
I know, but I'm talking about like whenever I go to the gas station when I'm doing like trade work and shit, I'll go, if there's one that looks interesting, I'll try it. Fuck it. Let's see what it is. So I'll go first on this one. Okay. So my top 3 Celsius flavors. Number 3. So I'm going to tell you the name of it, but I'll also let you know what the actual flavor is. So there's the Playa Vibes. They all have weird names for a lot of them.
Your top 3?
Yeah, that's the Pina Colada one.
Yeah.
That one's fire. We tried the new pack this week when we got it at Publix. Pretty good. I like a good Pina Colada. I like coconut and like pineapple and all that stuff, so pretty fire. Okay. Another one, if you guys are not a fan of like fizzy stuff in the morning, I said the fizzy free blue raz lemonade that they have is fire. It tastes like a blue Jolly Rancher. Big fan. Anything with blue raz is always like my style. That's like an easy way to get with me. My number 1, nice and simple, reminds me of Sprite, lemon lime. The lemon lime is fire. That's been like my top one. Most times if you see me walking around with the Celsius in my hand, that is the normal one. If you see me driving around my van or my truck or anything like that, that is normally what I have in there. Shout out to them. Good stuff.
Okay. Did you have an honorable mention?
Honorable mention, I like the orange creamsicle and the big cans.
Orange creamsicle. I'm really surprised that you didn't have just the regular orange one on your list.
That was good.
Like their first one and the one you drank.
That one's good.
Forever.
I like it. I just haven't drank it as much recently, so I wouldn't say it's like my top 10. That's not one I would, unless there's like there's like that and like one other random flavor. I'll usually grab that. But if I have the option,
Okay, good choices. I knew the blue raz would be on your list. I forgot about the lemon lime one. But okay, I was not expecting Playa Vibe since it was just very recent. But
good stuff. I've been enjoying.
I'm not a huge coconut fan, so it didn't make my list.
You like coconut rum of all things, though.
I do.
she likes freaking Malibu. That's like one of her only liquors she'll drink.
Well, not the only. I drink different ones, but it is one of the main ones I drank for the longest
It's either
time.
That, amaretto, or freaking vodka. That's
amaretto.
That's it.
Okay. Anywho.
No tequila.
No tequila, unless it's straight from Mexico. Okay. So my top 3 Celsius flavors. I put the blue raz lemonade as my 3rd.
That's a good one, like I said.
Yeah, it reminds me of that, like you said, that blue Jolly Rancher. It's a little sweet. That's why it's on my number 3. I like sweet, but right in the morning.
It is a sweet one. I'll give you that.
For number 2, I put the tropical vibe. It's like the pineapple. What else is it?
It's pineapple.
Yeah, it's just like a pineapple fizzy. And then my number 1 is never going to change. Peach mango green tea. It's non-fizzy.
I already knew you were going to say that.
I love tea. I love peach. I love mango. It's amazing.
It's not a bad flavor. I'm not saying it's a bad flavor, but that's like bottom of the barrel for me. Like that's
oh my gosh.
If there's like nothing else there, I'll drink it, I guess, but that's not.
I'm speechless.
Shannon got hurt.
My soul is hurt. I love those ones. Like whenever I take those to work, I could chug those if I wanted to. They're just so yummy. I love it.
I don't know about all that, but sure.
And then I put, for an honorable mention, I put Cosmic Vibe.
Is that the red one?
Yeah, it's kind of like a fruit punch fizzy type.
See, I can't get down with fruit punch too much, man. I don't know. Fruit punch, like, that's sweet for me personally. I love sweet stuff. I feel like that's like super sweet for me.
I don't know. I feel like the Blue Raz is sweeter than that one.
But be careful when you're drinking these Celsiuses.
Yes.
They will make you have to use the bathroom first thing in the morning.
Yes.
I pop my first Zen and drink my Celsius in the morning. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, wait a second here. I'm like, my stomach starts bubbling.
You don't want to be driving. Don't drive and be drinking your Celsius.
You start sweating. You're like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
When am I getting to the office?
You know who would be a really good candidate for this top 3?
Oh, Anna. Yeah.
She does, my girlfriend Anna, she is hilarious. She does these videos, and I tell her all the time she needs to make a YouTube and do these.
She was a past guest, by the way, twice.
Yes. She does these little short videos in her car, like things, or trying something new so you don't have to or might want to, or like the new flavors when they come out, she'll try those and give a rating and all that. I think she would be really good for.
I can't watch those because she always sends them to you in her underwear. I'm like, I gotta avert my eyes. I'm like, wait. I'm like, I can't be doing that.
Yeah, if she's doing something from home at night, whenever she's like cooking and all that, she's, you know.
Shannon's learned to stop showing me her Snapchat. Yeah, so I'm like, oops.
I always have to look at them first before I'll show Connor. Anna.
Damn it, Anna.
Gosh. Yeah.
No, her things are funny because there's times where she's like, this is shitty. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah. And her faces that she makes, like, if it's disgusting, her face is hilarious.
It is funny.
Yeah. She's great.
She's character. She's a character. We will say she's definitely a character.
Shout out Anna and Duchess.
Oh, that's right. Little Dutchie.
Love Dutchie.
Her little kitty.
Yes.
Shout out. But yeah, I think today was a fun episode.
I agree.
You know, we learned some things. I hope you guys, obviously, like I said, talking about the Pope stuff a little bit, hurt Shannon's feelings on the Celsius flavoring thing today.
How dare you say that? I was awful.
It's not my fault.
Guys, let us know what your Celsius flavors are. If there's any that we didn't mention or haven't tried yet, because like I said, we haven't tried all of them. And I feel like, personally, I haven't tried a majority of them.
I've tried to get them out of them.
So if there's some that are on your top list, let me know. Maybe I'll give them a try. Maybe I'll start doing something like Anna, where I'll do a taste and rate or something.
I like it. You know, give it a little taste and rate. Celsius, if you want to come say hi.
Yes.
You know, let us know. Or if you guys have a top 3 like different energy drinks. I've been drinking energy drinks forever. They're not great for you, I know that. But still, like I was a big Monster fan for the longest time. Reign's pretty good. C4 I can't drink. They make me itchy.
I have a hot take about Monster that I'm mad about.
Uh-oh.
So, Monster, if you ever listen to this, I loved that sugar-free red Monster.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I have not seen it in years.
It probably had something in there that killed you, like Red 40, like hardcore Red 40 in it. That's probably what it was.
Well, it's like pretty much the same thing as the white zero sugar.
But it's not red.
They came out at the same time, I thought.
But it's not red anymore.
So it's just the dye.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like there had to be something inside of it that probably was not good for you.
I need to know, and I need it brought back. If it's possible, please.
I don't care if it kills me. I want it. Please. That'd be great.
Yes. So, anywho.
But yeah, I say thank you guys for checking out this week's episode. I say if you guys like the episode, make sure you guys leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. You know, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. Helps the podcast get seen by more people. It's gonna be Who Are You ? Podcast on there. Also for all of our social media, make sure you guys hit us up. You know, any kind of DMs, you know, questions, or you guys want to know anything more about the show. I'm also thinking about starting a new Discord channel. You know, starting a Discord where you guys can reach out or maybe be a part of the Patreon. If you guys subscribe to the Patreon, and maybe I'll add you on there so you guys can talk to me fully in there. You know, like little questions.
That'd be cool.
I like when I have questions that people ask about the show and I can bring it up on here. So I want to make sure you guys are as involved in the show as well. We're nothing without our followers, our listeners, and everything. So make sure you guys check that stuff out.
Yeah, we want to do like would you rathers and top 3s that you guys are interested in as well. So let us know.
Or if you have questions about our lives, you know, we've talked about a good amount of stuff on here, but there's always stuff that I'm sure that you guys maybe have a question about, maybe our past or who we were before we started dating or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we've had fun lives, interesting little lives, and we're still continuing doing our things. But make sure you guys give us a follow on all of our social media. It's going to be at Who Are You Pod from everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the normal spots. We're live on pretty much everything, so make sure you guys check all that good stuff out. And my final thing is if you guys feel like you have someone that would be a good fit for the show, you know, we still love to do our interviews, but we still love to sit down and have some fun conversations like this, get a little more personable with you guys. Make sure you guys shoot us an email email to me, whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. We're looking for entrepreneurs, restaurateurs, other YouTube channels. We're always big about collaborating as well. So make sure you guys let us know. We're always trying to get in touch with more people and help build our community and build our net of people that we're having on and all that good stuff. Yeah. Do you have anything final to say, Shannon?
Final words. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and fathers around the world who are in that position. And I hope everyone had an amazing Sunday.
I agree. Shout out to all the moms out there. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to Karen. Shout out to Donna, Shannon's mom. Say we would not be here without you guys. So thank you for always providing us with love, happiness, and shelter. And we hope everybody has a great Mother's Day. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.